Okay. Light up a cigarette. It's been a long day at work. And I guess I'll just respond to old No Join Life. I'm not going to respond directly to his video because I think it'd just get ridiculous. Because it would be him talking, me talking, then him talking again. So it would be. And then I'd be talking over it. So it'd be like an hour long video probably. With a lot of dead air because I'm not going to talk to his like way in the past self. I don't know how to put it. It'd just be such a weird video. So I'll just respond to the main points that some of the main points that he made. If I missed something or I misrepresented what you say, No Join Life, just feel free to let me know. I'm kind of going off memory. Yeah, I got a few notes here, but obviously I'm not going to sit here and just write out what you said verbatim. That'd just take forever. Okay, I'll just get to the first point. My personal safety was brought up a few times. I wouldn't worry about it too much. I've lived in this area for 25 years, and I know most of the people. I'm not worried about getting, beat up or shot or stabbed or any of that. I'm more worried about being blacklisted from employment in my area more than anything, but I'm not going out there with a bullhorn or anything talking about this, so I wouldn't be too concerned. As far as talking to kids, yeah, I have no idea how to do that, I'll be frank. I have no idea how to broach this topic to kids. You might want to leave that to, I think you said his name was Antinatalist Persian. I can't remember his name. He made cartoons. I'll let him. I'll let him take over there. That's not a job for me. Let's just put it that way. I like kids and all, but you know, I just have no idea how to say anything like this to them. Plus, I'm really not around them that much, anyways. I'm only around like maybe two kids. I see like at least once a month, I guess. Then they're very young, so they're one of my best friend's kids. So, and I'm not going to talk to them about this when they're like 2, and I think the other one's like 7 or 8. I can't remember, but yeah, I really don't even talk to them when I see them either because I mean they're little kids. What am I supposed to say? Um, so yeah, that's not going to happen in my case, and I'm not going to go out of my way to do it. As far as lost causes are concerned, like you mentioned, yeah, there's quite a few of them here. Just to be frank, yeah, that's part of my frustration. Yeah, that's a lot of them. That's probably about 90% of the people I meet, and most of the people around here, like I said, are pretty hardcore Catholic. So, and that just brings me on to the religious thing. I guess I'll just move on from there because most of these people are lost causes, and you know what I'm talking about. But the religious thing, yeah, these people sort of live like their whole lives are dedicated around this church. Like I don't know how else to put it. Like it permeates like almost every aspect of their lives. It's super hard to describe. Um, I get kind of singled out for not being part of it too, which gets annoying. But I don't get like assaulted or nothing like that. I just get kind of glared at or get a few snipes here and there, like, oh, aren't you worried about your soul or anything? And don't you know hell's a bad place? But me saying I don't give a shit where I go when I die usually shuts them up. And as far as changing the culture and stuff, where you mentioned like we could sort of change the culture around having kids and stuff, well, if that's the case, at least where I'm at, I'm sure I'm not the only person who has to deal with this. I'm sure there's other antinatalists out there who understand what I'm talking about. Like, we got a long, long ways to go before any of that starts happening. Um, as well as like what you mentioned with the ease of access of making it easier to get contraception. Ugh, wish I could talk. I just got off work. Sorry. Um, and making it harder, making the requirements harder for them to have kids, making them more stringent requirements. Well, there's another problem with that because, as far as I can tell, the governments around the world are kind of the ones sounding the alarm on the whole lowering birth rate. They are offering incentives to couples. I think Denmark's been offering incentives. I know Japan is. I think I saw Hungary is as well. And I know the U.S. sort of gives them, I think you get like a tax break or an exemption or something for having kids. I'm not 100% sure. I've never had them, obviously, so I have no idea. But it seemed like it would be against their best interest. Because governments always want more worker drones, more soldiers, more taxpayers, all that. They're always looking for more, 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 and more. And we'd have to have a huge shift in the way we do things, and we'd probably have to get away from this whole, I'm not like an economist or nothing, but this like infinite growth capitalism that we got going on, where the graph just has to keep going up all the time. And I guess you could say, you could argue for automation and stuff, but you got to have people still buying the goods and services. So you can't just get rid of jobs like that. Not all of them, at least. Unless their whole secret goal is to reduce the population, I don't know. Some people say that's the case. I couldn't tell you whether that's the case or not. I think they're trying to increase the population. Otherwise, they wouldn't be talking about it. I don't think a lot of governments. So yeah. And, yeah, as far as ways to get the message out, this is about the scope I have. I don't have any other social media. Nothing. This is my internet presence. You're looking at it. Sundimmer at youtube.com. That's it. That's all I got. I don't really care much about all that online stuff, to be frank. Tried to download or upload videos from my desktop onto YouTube, and it's not working out. So I'm stuck with this tablet for the time being until I can figure it out. That and I have DSL. So this is about as good as it's gonna get. If people just happen to stumble across them, great. And yeah, that's about all I can hope for, really. And let's see what else. Oh, you mentioned something like how this isn't all bad, like it's not all war and everything, or it's not an eternal conflict. Well, I think it is. The fact that there's just so many things coming at you, like it's not even just like different societies or different groups of people or tribes or underneath certain abstractions of like a country or culture or whatever, you name it, religion. But we got to deal with the environment. We got animals. We got diseases like what we got now, a pandemic. And I mean, the list goes on. Other people, of course. And we're all competing for space. We're all competing for jobs and resources and yada, yada, yada. And it's just to me, it just looks like an eternal war. It's war eternal, as far as my eyes can see it. And even now we're having somewhat of a disagreement. This is like a very light skirmish, if you want to put it that way. Like, I'm not trying to take you out or nothing, but obviously, I couldn't anyways. I'm talking on YouTube, but you can go on YouTube. People have arguments all the time. You got all sorts of shit. Like, yeah, just because it's not, machine guns constantly firing in the background or nukes being dropped, or you name it, doesn't mean it's not war eternal here. There's always conflict on this planet. I've never known a moment of peace in my life, I'll say that much. Not in any real sense of that word. I mean, maybe you have, but I certainly haven't. Oh, and this is just more of a clarification on my end, where we were talking about, you mentioned something about, like, pushing the button, I guess. Or ephilism finally becoming accepted. I'm like, yeah, we got the means to do it. We just need someone willing to push the button. Well, what I should have said was, we need someone willing to push the button and has the ability to. And it's pretty obvious to me that we're very far from that. We all know Amendum would definitely push the button. If there was a way to do it, I certainly would. Quickly and cleanly, I'd be for it. But there's no way I can. I'm not anywhere near that sort of technology, like none of us are. And it's going to take a while for that to even become a consideration, I think. So yeah. Okay, as far as, saying it bluntly and stuff like that, you said I could just be gentle about it and kind of nudge people in that direction, something to that effect. Well, I mean, maybe I could, but I just don't know how to say something that's like a hard negative. Pointing out the hard negatives that are going to come at people's lives and saying, hey, this is going to be what's happening to your kids. That's why I say these things. Like, you know what I say. What you fear most is coming for you, yada, yada, yada. You guys have heard it all before if you've listened to my videos. I say it that way because it'll get them to relate immediately to what's going to happen to them. And then they realize, oh shit, I just dropped someone else here. Or I'm thinking about dropping someone else here who's going to experience that. Because they're not escaping it. Their kids aren't. I guess it's not necessarily something to do with antinatalism or something. But it's just showing them, like, you're not in a good situation here. The worst is coming for you. And if you put someone else here, it's going to happen to them. So just serve your term, Don't make anybody else have to serve theirs, like I said in the last video. I mean, maybe I can say it nicer, but I just don't know. I'm not like that, really. I can't really just be nice about something this negative. I'll be frank. That might be a task better suited to someone else, but not me. I'm looking for sledgehammers. Let's put it that way. And with the people I have to deal with, you kind of have to get their attention that way. If you want to actually get them to turn their head and at least listen to what you have to say with this sort of stuff. Because they're dead asleep. They're dead asleep inside their culture, they're like the church, all this stuff. All brainwashed by optimism. Thinking they're going to go to heaven someday and their kids will be too. They made the right decision for them. And it's really hard to try to convey like the hard negatives to people like that is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, and I'll end with something that, yeah, I like what you said about child-free. That's the word I was looking for. Petty. That was the word. I could not think of the right word. Petty was the word I was looking for. Just slipped right by me, and you said I was good at expressing myself. But yeah, that's what I basically define child-free as. It's just mostly a lot of petty reasons why they don't have kids. And you also said a win's a win when it comes to that. I'm kind of on the fence with that one because change the like you even said, change the conditions, and you can. People are mechanical, so if you change the conditions, you'll get a different outcome. Well, let's say the economy improves. Let's say the environment improves, which it kind of is because everyone's staying inside, and or people kind of grow out of the whole partying all the time phase. I know I certainly have. I still do, but I don't go looking for them. Let's put it that way. I don't need to be out and about all the time like I used to. And when people get older and mature and they're just thinking, okay, yeah, I'm done partying and all that sort of stuff. I got a partner. Let's have kids. People with that line of reasoning are far, far more likely to have kids. And I'll grant that there's some child-free people that just aren't about it ever and never will be. I think some of them just outright hate kids, which I certainly don't. As cliche as it is, I love my kids too much to have, which is why I'm an antinatalist. But yeah, I think I've said what I wanted to say there. It was a nice response. I enjoyed listening to it. Oh, and I like your channel too, by the way. You make some good points. That canine aversion lady still kind of... I can't believe someone like that exists. I'll be frank with you. I cannot believe someone like that exists. But, you know what? I'm not done yet because Google is evil. Looking at you. I got some... I'm actually going to respond to a few comments because I don't want to dwell on this too much. What I want to show is, or at least from what I'm seeing, is we got a far more uphill battle than it looks like, I think. And I don't want us to get complacent before it's even over. You know what I mean? Like, sure, antinatalism's a hard-hitting, I've yet to encounter something to defeat it, but we still got a ways to go before anything like what a lot of what we want really is going to even come close to happening. Which is us finally getting to the point where we're like, okay, we're done, right? Like, that's what I'm saying, and we are far, far from that. Is what I'm trying to say. So I'll just respond to Google is evil since he's left quite a few comments on my channel in various videos. I'll just respond to this one on the last video I did because, I mean, you did kind of write me a novel, but still. Here we go. It says, "Hi, Sundimmer. I already left a huge comment on your antinatalism is wishful thinking video arguing with you about this topic. I'll try not to argue old arguments in this post. You and No Joy in Life are my favorite antinatalist YouTubers." Well, thank you. "But I see every antinatalist as my brother or my sister. Like family, we may have our disagreements, but we are stuck together." I couldn't have said it better myself, really. I do view every antinatalist/ethalist really like part of my true family, really. As much as a family member to me as my siblings or my parents or my friends. Like my really good friends, who I consider like brothers. Same with you guys. We kind of get each other. You don't have to be meeting up all the time. Then he goes on in the next paragraph. "That being said, you are dead wrong on this topic. I bet antinatalism seems futile to see the rampant indoctrination of Catholicism procreation all around you." Yeah, it does. "I'm the youngest of 10 children to a Catholic family in Wyoming, but now I'm an antinatalist. And I just ask, are the other 9 antinatalists as well? Just saying. The best inoculation to indoctrination is information." Exactly, yeah. I couldn't agree with that statement more. "When I thought for myself, I came up with the idea of antinatalism independently prior to learning about the existing community. If I'd known of antinatalism, I think I would have embraced it 20 years ago. Same here. I probably would have embraced it sooner had I known. I've always had sort of reservations about having kids. Maybe not like this, but always have. And this, to me, is just like the most solid reason not to have kids I've came across. In fact, it probably is the most solid reason that's out there, really. "In the modern age, children have better access to information. Antinatalism doesn't have to be passed down through familial lines, but now can be passed from person to person like a virus. When an average antinatalist infects more than one other person with the same idea, we will be well on our way to infecting the bulk of the population." Well, I don't know about you, but I didn't come from a long line of antinatalists. Yeah, I don't know how that one works. But yeah, we can pass this on from person to person. It's just, are they willing to accept the information? That's half the problem I've found. It's more than half the problem. Because the idea is solid in and of itself. No one has to suffer and die if there's no one here. Doesn't get much easier than that, but I wish I had a way to say it to people. Really, so they get it, so I could stop waking up here. "You argued in this video that there is plenty of other non-procreation that is not consistent with antinatalism." Yeah, there is plenty. "With COVID-19, 2020 may be the first year since 1919 that the United States population declines, regardless of the other non-procreation ideas. People will be more amenable to antinatalist ideas when having more children is against their economic best interest." Yeah, I mean, but like I said, once the economy turns around or something where resources are more available, people are going to start having kids again. They just think that something like a pandemic or maybe even a war or something like that, it's just sort of a fluke, like something that just sort of happens to another generation, that we totally learned our lesson. It won't happen again. Well, it keeps happening. And I think antinatalists know better. That's the problem. A lot of these people aren't thinking that far ahead into the future, or at least looking around and saying, oh crap, I am guaranteed only suffering and death, and I will impose that upon my kids if I have them. I don't think these people are seeing that, and it's kind of why I'm a bit pessimistic about this. Sure, maybe this generation will have fewer kids, but what about the next? Because there's still people having kids out there. And yeah. I'll just go into his next paragraph, or sentence actually. "I wrote a book on this topic, but I'm having to self-publish since no publisher will touch me." I'd be interested to see your book, honestly. I mean, yeah. That's one way to get it out there. And then we go on to the last paragraph. Sundimmer, you said you would eat your words if you were wrong, and I will. I mean it. I won't hold you to that, but I will hold you to beers when the time comes, brother. With the utmost respect and gratitude, Connor Garcia. Well, thank you for that. And I hope you like hams, bush, or chiladas, because that's what I drink. Um, so, yeah. But yeah, I will get you some beer. I'll hook you up too, No Joy in Life, if you want something. If I'm wrong, I'll be glad to be wrong on this topic. Very glad. I will say, you know what? I didn't see it. But now I see that people were kind of getting it, but only time will tell on that one. And send me your address if you want me to send you beer or whatever if I'm wrong. You know where I am. I'm on YouTube. Just throw them out there. Or I don't know how you do it on here, so whatever. When the time comes, we'll find a way. And then we got another comment from somebody named Satva Ram. I think that's how you pronounce it. This is kind of a long one, but I figured it warrants a response since you typed this much. And, okay, here it goes. No one opposes AN because it's such a marginal movement. True. I mean, most people don't even know we exist. When everyone in society is a natalist without question, then neither natalism nor antinatalism exist, and natalism is the non-dual truth of people. Well, that's debatable. You need high to know low, cold to know hot, etc., etc. Yeah, well, we do know the opposite. That's the thing. There's not one without the other. If you ask people now whether they are natalist, it just wouldn't compute to them because they are natalist to such a ridiculous extent that it's their unquestioned non-dual truth. Okay, now I can kind of see what you're saying now. Yeah, most people don't even think this way, and that's another thing I'm talking about. Most people just don't see it this way, and I don't think a lot of them are capable. But that's just me being pessimistic all over again. But anyways, we'll go on. Just as if all you know is cold and neither cold nor hot will make any sense to you. Yeah, it's kind of debatable. I think people who lived in like the frozen north kind of got the concept of cold. You need contrast to know the other. Now, as natalism starts to be questioned, a dual battle is beginning to brew. The end game is to completely obliterate both AN and natalism, making antinatalism such a norm that it wouldn't compute to people whether they are AN or natal, antinatalist or natalist. Yeah, I would agree with that. That's kind of where we have to go. Like, people just don't even think about having kids. And we are super far away from that. Just as now they are so natalist that neither AN or antinatalist or natalist makes sense to them. In order to be antinatalist, you have to have doubts about it. Doubts about natalism, I guess. Similarly, ugh, fuck me, I can't talk. Similarly, I can't say it, fuck it. In order to be natalist, you have to have doubts about it. I don't know if you have to have doubts about antinatalism to be a natalist. But like you said up here, most people don't think about it, so they don't doubt it. When you don't have any doubts anymore, then you cease to be antinatalist, then you won't have to fight anymore. Well, we're far from that point. Just as at the time of non-dual, unquestioned natalism, no one has to fight for natalism. It's just a universally accepted truth, so accepted that people don't even know what it is. And I would agree. We got a long, hard road ahead of us. So true antinatalists don't fight. They are so antinatalist that they don't even know what antinatalism is anymore. Well, it's kind of debatable. Just as staunch natalists don't know that they are natalist. It makes zero sense to them that they are natalist. Well, I know I'm an anti-natalist, and I'm not having kids, and I'm pretty staunch about it. How am I not a true AN? I don't understand this. Is this some sort of like Zen thing? I don't, I don't know. Some sort of like Taoist thing, or what you resist persists, or something like that. I don't know. So actually, the more you fight something, the more unsure you are of your truth. Well, I would debate that. I'm pretty sure of this. I've never been more sure of something in my life, actually. I will say that much. When it doesn't occur to you anymore that people even have the very ability to breed, that's when you arrive. Just as it doesn't occur to people now that there is a possibility not to breed. I can kind of see where you're saying, but yeah, I think the more you fight for something, the more you're like, hey, I'm about it. I mean, it's like, I don't know, or like revolutionaries unsure of their cause or something. I don't know. I think they'd be pretty sure to, start, you know, picking up arms or something, or forming up. But good comment, anyways. Satva Ram. Wish I could say similarly. Ugh. Yeah, fuck it, I can't say it. I do have somewhat of a mild speech impediment, I guess, but I don't know. It's not important. That and some sort of dyslexia. I'll just be upfront about that. I don't know what it's called, but basically my eyes don't track very well. So yeah, the muscles don't really work too well. Makes it hard to see at night, and it makes it hard to read small text like this. I have shit eyes. I'll just admit that right now. And we got another comment from Tom Collins. I haven't seen him around before. And it says, thanks for your honest expression of how you see things. Well, you're welcome. It's just the way I'm seeing it. All I would say is I don't really concern myself about whether an outlook appears optimistic or pessimistic. I just say it is what it is, and things outside our control we really ought not to focus too much on. Fair enough. I mean, it is outside the realm of my control whether people get it or not. But it is frustrating that they don't understand something this simple. It blows me away. All I know all I know is through my personal activism, comments here and there, and general input towards this subject, I have prevented potential children from coming into existence. I'd like to think I've helped that way too. If I just stop one of me from waking up here again, it's good enough, as far as I can tell. That's all any activist can realistically do. Just do their bit. True enough, you can only do so much. It's easy to get overwhelmed, is what I can understand. I think that's kind of why Mendham got burned out. Part of the reason, I think. I don't know. I just don't think he could carry on anymore. I think somebody else said I'm done too, basically talking about this. And I don't blame him. You can only talk about it for so much. It's a very simple topic to talk about. Don't have kids, and you won't have to deal with the bullshit life has to throw at you. Simple as that. You can only say it so many ways. I try to say it as hard and heavy as I can, but, you know. I/we understand your concern, as it's about a broader level of suffering. Yeah, it's something else to see. It's really hard to bite my tongue when I hear about people having kids, I'll say that much. And I went to a party, what was it, Saturday. And somebody there talked about how, because of the whole coronavirus thing, that Planned Parenthood shut down. And he was talking about how many lives were saved over this virus. And I tried not to just slap my fucking hand as hard as I could to my forehead. And I desperately bit my tongue because that was just not the place to start talking about it. It would have just started a whole scene, and I know how these people are because I've known them for a while, so it's like, there's no point. And it really sucks. Plus, that guy who said it was a parent, so, I mean, there's not much I can do. They're going to do whatever they can to justify why they did something. I mean, it's real easy to point out, it's like you didn't save anybody because you brought somebody here. You can't save somebody who's here. We're all dead. We're all in palliative care, however you say it, basically, until it's all done and over with. It's the sad truth of the matter. Like, we're all dead men and women walking. The only difference between us and, I guess, them, if you want to put it that way, is we know it. That's about the only comfort I have. But as soon as you realize it is what it is and all you can do is your best, you will be in a better place knowing you have prevented suffering. Yeah, true. And I feel pretty okay about it. I'm just saying we got a much greater fight ahead of us than what we think. So, if you really want this to keep going, like, we still got to put the word out there and stuff. Like, we can't just rest on our laurels and get complacent. I'm not saying anyone's doing that, but just thinking that this will take care of itself. That's pretty delusional in my opinion. And I'm not saying anyone's doing that, but I don't have much hope for this ever taking off. And I think we need more people out there talking about it, which is part of the reason why I did put this channel up. So at least in some way I can help spread the news, so to speak. Like, hey, you don't have to suffer and die if you're not here. Stay in the realm of potential. Don't come to the realm of actuality, where you're fucked. And you got to do a lot of bullshit you hate doing along the way. So, at the last sentence, hope that helps. Keep up the good work. Well, thanks. I'm glad somebody likes this channel too. Or somebody else, I guess. I don't mind it. I could probably do better, but I got technical limitations on my end. Like I said, I think I mentioned it. Yeah, I got DSL. I live out in a pretty remote area, so in a town of 100 people. My only option is DSL or satellite, and satellite internet sucks balls from my understanding. First rainstorm, bam, you lost your connection, and I'd be paying more for it. More than the exorbitant rate I'm paying now, so I'm kind of stuck with it. I'd have to move to a completely different area to get decent internet, so this is the way it's going to be for now. And finally, NoJoyinLife's left a comment. Love the video. I hear you loud and clear, dude. I still love you too. Well, thanks. I love your videos as well. Oh, can't forget about Matthew T over here. 7 kids. Is that the USA? Is it really such a third world country? Yeah, in some parts it is. I think one of the poorest areas on Earth is in America, actually. The U.S. I think it's in the Appalachian Mountains. Yeah, it's considered one of the poorest areas on Earth, if I remember right. I could look it up, but I remember hearing that a while back, so maybe it's not true anymore. But yeah, like I commented to him, yeah, this is the U.S. Rich big cities aren't most of America, and I can attest to that. The nearest big quote city that I've got that's nearest to me is like a 3-something hour drive away, at least. So if you want to get into the cities past 5 digits, let's put it that way. And actually, the nearest 5-digit city is like 40 miles away from me. 40-something miles away from me. So, yeah. I wouldn't say I'm like completely out in the sticks because it's like, like an hour drive or so to get somewhere, but still. I'm in a fairly remote area. So, yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. Appreciate all the comments, guys. Google's Evil, Safaram, Matthew T, Tom Collins, and of course NoJoyinLife for the video and the comment. But like I said before, we can't be getting complacent about this, thinking it's just going to take off on its own. If you want it to take off, you kind of got to put the word out there, either through commenting, if you want to do that, however you want to do it, really. I don't care. If you really feel strongly about it. I mean, Google's Evil wrote a book, which is more than what I've done, that's for sure. I put up black screen YouTube videos, and maybe 1,000 people have watched them. I don't even know. But oh crap, I got 50 subscribers now. Woo! But yeah, I'll just leave it there. So yeah, thank you for listening, and have a good one.